Back at the Downs.
Back at the Downs, yeah.
It's been a while since you've been up here, mate.
What episode is it?
Episode 12, I think we're on now.
All I know is that I've got a record still.
You've still got a record. I feel like we could come back here today because we have got a golfer. No introduction needed.
Depends. How good your football knowledge.
Marlon, welcome.
Cheers for having me.
Thank you, mate. For the benefit of everyone, mate, I'm sure most of our viewers will know who you are.
I'm Marlon Pack, captain of Portsmouth Football Club and avid golf fan as well.
You won't be seeing shots like mine from him today.
So, mate, just so you know, there is a challenge on the first hole. Par 3 at the Downs. Playing 151 today, did we say?
I think it's 155 into.
Closer to the pin challenge. Hole in one challenge if you're that good.
What's the prize for hole in one?
Straight to London.
Is it?
Yeah.
On the club account?
On the club account.
Yeah, on the business,
Just
nice.
But you've got to take a buggy.
Yeah.
You've got to take a buggy.
Messages straight into the girls. Hole in one, we're going to London. Go on then, go and pick it up. Mate, I've got you a present for this one. Look, hanging out your shorts.
First prize. Golf balls.
Well, look, I've been excited to get you on here, mate.
Yeah.
I know we go way back from school.
I think it's past school, mate. I think obviously the younger brother Brad's my age and we played football growing up together. We obviously, as you do, my career went past Portsmouth and you lose contact. But yeah, since we come back, it's been good to...
But you're still a city boy. City boys.
City boys, yeah. I think that's where all the top people from Portsmouth come from.
You had to switch off to like what everyone else was doing at 14, 15 to
Go
go and do what you've gone on to do.
Bomb shelter.
How did you do it?
The sacrifice at the time for me was always been small. Obviously, hindsight now and where my career's got to, did I ever imagine it? No, but I dreamt it every day. So it was like, these lads had a great time. Still had fun, still went out, but I just made sure I had a curfew. My dad made sure I'd come in earlier than everyone else. And at the time, I was like, oh, I wish I stayed out for longer. But even though we all lived in and around the same council area and the council estate, I always been able to maintain a good attitude, or at least be able to distance myself without ostracising myself too much where I missed out, but drawing the line when I felt like it needed.
And look, we will peg it up now because they're moving on, but we often look at each other and like, especially with trying to grow the business, you've got to drill down, you've got to have a bit of drive and a bit of resistance, but you were doing it at that height.
Yeah. Respectful, that. Very impressive.
Wow, let's see how impressive this tee shot is.
Oh, it's cute.
We're going to London.
What club's that? Do you know what? I'll play football in front of anyone. Teeing off on the first tee in front of
6 people.
6 people is a lot more nerve-wracking.
Oh, the wind's got that one.
That wind scored that, innit?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Kept it under the wind.
Yeah, I tried to knock it down.
The record remains. Another one bites the dust.
Oh, there you go.
I know you've said coming back, reconnecting with old friends and faces and probably coming home somewhat. What was it like when you first came back to Pompey?
I think coming home was perfectly how the club got resold to me, really. It didn't need to be resold to me for what it is. As much as I played football, I'm still see myself as a massive Pompey fan, same as anyone else. As you boys go week in, week out. It's once you've been there, you don't lose that. No. Obviously, my career has made me be more individualised and support myself, but I've always obviously had a season ticket. I come through the system, like you don't lose that Pompey feeling. So what I would say is actually coming back, I didn't realise how much it meant to me until I was back in the building, until that first game that I had back on the shirt, and then also the impact of not just first and foremost my family and what it meant to them, but then also friends, other relatives, and people that I've met over the years. Maybe to have one of their own representing them, someone that's a bit more relatable and that they know. It
sounds cliche, but you've done what we all dreamt of as kids. Not only to go and have the career, but to play for Pompey.
The beauty of where we live and the uniqueness of Portsmouth is that the togetherness of being like the island city, the mentality, whatever you want to call it. But then also, like, it might have changed a little bit nowadays, but all I remember growing up is everyone supporting Portsmouth. Like literally everyone in the city supports the local club.
And I think it's probably like, look at Jensen, your boy. I know they have different idols now, if it's Haaland but we still had that as kids. It was still like Beckham or, for me, Ferdinand or like...
We were lucky, weren't we? Like when you were at Pompey coming through, Pompey was on
the up.
The up. It was all great. So it was easy to support Pompey back then, wasn't it?
I don't know. We've been I remember first watching Pompey and we were struggling. It's only in recent years. The most rewarding thing was for me, Ash, is that when we won the league, it was people that I've known throughout the years, similar to your age, saying, "Oh, it's been the best year supporting Portsmouth," because I've seen it with my kids. Obviously, I've got 3 boys. One's 11. Obviously, you probably sound the same with Jensen. It's like actually when you know someone that's shared it with their kids, it's a lot more rewarding and it means a lot more.
It lasts forever.
really. But since you've been back, mate, I know you've just said then that the pull of coming home was what made you come home, but we've had some unbelievable nights, especially under the lights down there. Is there like nights or games that really like stick out as players? Maybe not so much as fans.
Yeah, obviously, naturally, League One season, Barnsley at home, winning the league on that night, Fratton Park. Honestly, it's everything. The reason I came back to the football club was for the hope of that. Was it achievable? Yes, because I want to come back otherwise, but to actually go out and deliver and achieve it is massive. I'm scoring my first goal at Fratton Park, my first Pompey goal. The family were there as a free kick, and it was the opposite end, so I ran all the way to my family, my boys. That was a nice feeling, but yeah, I don't think being out winning the league with your hometown club and the club you support as a kid and being captain and leading the boys is, I don't think anything can top that. And then obviously it wasn't as big, but growing up with the success that we spoke about earlier that the football club had and the FA Cup, and obviously when we won Division 1, the old Division 1 Championship to get the Premier League, being on that seafront as a fan and then actually being the other side of that and being the stand, being presented to with, okay, the trophy and the achievement wasn't as big, but for me it was massive.
Look,
so yeah,
from where the club has been in the last 10 years, the achievement is just as big. Especially like for my old man to see you do it, and it just means something more, doesn't it?
Obviously when you're going to sign for a club, whatever club that is, there's going to be pros and cons to anything. So when you weigh it up, in the end, the emotional pull to come back to Portsmouth was far greater than any of the potential negatives. But yeah, of course, sometimes the reality and the dream of it might have been completely different. Obviously, because we've been successful, it's panned out. But yeah, and of course, times last season, listen, we're talking about the beauty of Portsmouth and knowing people and everyone celebrating your success. Also, on the flip side of that, I know people that, would say I've had a bad game, but I think with me, like, my mental state is quite strong.
I think, you're probably long enough in the tooth now to ignore.
And it's a Portsmouth thing, right? People talk about people, especially in Portsmouth, is everyone knows each other's business. And listen, that's part of the territory, that's part of being a footballer. Doesn't matter, that's at Portsmouth, that could be anywhere. But yeah, of course, there's at times when everyone knows you, everyone knows a member of your family. It's more my family, actually, not me. Listen, I know it's part of the game. It's the family sometimes that gets affected more than me.
On the doorstep.
And it's on the doorstep. So, but that's,
what did you say about the lollipop lady? If you
lollipop lady at my boy's school.
We'll give you a bit of stick.
Oh, honestly, sometimes I'm like, babe, can you do the school one today? Because she's just, she has no filter. She's harmless. She loves it. She's a massive Pompey fan. Yeah. So it comes from a good place. But listen, sometimes, same as you guys had a bad day at work, last thing you want someone to next day, or we've had a mistake, someone to throw it in your face. But that's football, and that's the world we live in. And it's because people watch it day in, day out, they feel like it's not reachable, but feel like they know it more because it's out there. Everyone's an expert,
We're all backseat drivers, aren't we?
Yeah.
But did you, when the Cowleys obviously came to you about coming back, did you know you were going to be, did they put like being skip, like captain?
No, nothing like that. Obviously the gaffer now, John Messino, made me captain.
Right.
That was never, listen, should I have been captain? Probably, but it never would affected me. And I always try to lead us if I was captain anyway. Sometimes it may be more beneficial for someone else to have the armband. It might lift them a little bit. Yeah. Whereas for me, I will still do my due diligence, still run the procedures as if I was an experienced player, because I was. So yeah, for me, it's never affected me, the armband, either or. I still try and maintain like my professional approach and how I'd like to lead a team. Wow, speed goal. Oh!
You've just said it there, you're one of the more senior members of the squad.
Yeah.
I suppose when you left Pompey, how old were you?
19, 20, maybe 19, yeah, 19, yeah.
Like, we've both got like pivotal people in our life who we've seen as like mentors, or people who have like really guided us in our early stages of the career. Have you got people, like staple people in your life attached to football?
Do you know what? Not probably one significant person as such, but from a younger age, if we've had like youth team coaches, there's been like Sean North, for example. Yeah. Even though similar thing, like we lost contact. However, he would have been coach at Portsmouth from the age of like foundation, under 6, under 7s, all the way up to 15, 16s. Oh, sorry, 16s. Coach Paul Hardiman was really good. And then probably more senior players when I've joined teams. Yeah. And they've always been someone that I've always ask questions, never been afraid to ask questions, try to lean on from their experience, try to even just mimic and mirror their daily habits. And I think football is massive for that. It's one where you don't have to always ask the question. If I'm doing something well, it can have a massive influence on the group or an individual. So yeah, no one really stand out to go throughout my career. I've leaned to, been on the phone to, but I've had enough people where around me, managers that are, you know, when you get older as well, and then when you leave, you can continue that relationship with.
At 13 to 15, you made the right choices to not stay out, to not get involved in everything else that like your friends were doing, but even leaving at like 19 years old. We knew what it was like playing men's football when you step up from playing kids football. It's daunting, but you've turned up with people that you don't know, away from your family.
Was it tough to leave?
Same as any environment, right? Football, when you get into a workspace, I'll have a different football personality to my personality at home, being a dad, being a husband. In a male environment, same as probably you guys when you're with your friends, like, be a bit more jokey and a bit more light-hearted. But with football, what it does make you do is that in a lot of cases you leave home earlier. Some cases have kids a lot earlier, financially secure a lot earlier, or you have to go and get a mortgage a lot earlier, pay bills more than what you would do. So I think with that there was a lot of growing up that football naturally made me figure out, instead of being safe or having that security of being at home all the time. I had to go and fend for myself. I had to, stuff that
you got to grow up.
I know it's a different conversation, stuff that you don't learn at school that you have to. And don't get me wrong, when you're at the top clubs, they will have people to help you, and
the pay's different as well.
Yeah,
slightly.
Yeah, but like I said, it's definitely given me a foundation into life, and as not just as a footballer, it's moulded me. I think when I went away and went to other clubs, it made me more rounded as a human being, as a person.
And I suppose like Lauren's been a staple in your life throughout your whole career as well. So having her as a constant has probably been a massive help.
I probably don't tell her enough, but
miss your chance, mate.
It's not.
Lauren, listen in.
She will. I get some brownie points. Hopefully, if I say something nice, she might allow me on the golf course a little bit longer. So yeah, Lauren being that constant, being that support system. Children from a perspective of, listen, when I was younger, football, and it is my be all and end all, but a result on a Saturday would really affect our plans, right? Because it was all I focused about, and it was, we'd have plans, go and see people. We've lost at the weekend, or I've had a bad game. No, I want to stay in. I want to be showered.
Are you saying you'd sulk?
I'd sulk, yeah. You can't control that, right?
No, of course not. It's passion,
we've worked throughout the whole week to get a result. That doesn't happen. That's life. At the end of the day, you've got Monday then to either learn from it, forget about it, go again. Luckily in football, we have, we might have a Tuesday game to put it right.
Yeah.
But it would affect me so much that, unfortunately, it affected her. Not well from a personal perspective, but from a lifestyle perspective. But then adding kids on top of that, the beauty of that is just like, when you actually strip it all back, and what does it really mean in life? What's important, right? So sometimes there's either we're all guilty of it, like something major to happen, a disaster, and we go, oh, let's think about what's really important in life. But when you have kids, and you'll know the same, like they don't care that daddy is at a bad game or they've lost. My oldest, Milan, now he gives me a little bit of stick and banter because he probably gets it from his friends. Like they've been able to me to really separate everything.
You can compartmentalise
it. I will have my day. Maybe if it's on a Monday, maybe it's on a Sunday evening when they're in bed. I will then go and reevaluate the game, rewatch it back. But the Monday I can do that. I can leave it at the front door.
Yeah.
When I get home,
but even
that's my family
that's
time.
Impressive though, because it's easy to say it.
Oh,
but doing
it.
Yeah.
And you're probably the same in your work. Like,
I'm exactly the same. When Jensen loses a match under 8s, under 9s, I'm in a bad mood. Yeah. He's high-fiving the opponent.
That's worse. That's worse.
He's really good at compartmentalising. So he can get home, be with Joe, with Jensen. The phone goes on the side. I know that from 5:30 till probably 8 o'clock, I won't get him because he's doing family time. Me, I'm at home. Why aren't you answering?
What I will say, look, I'm not in the business. I've known football my whole life, but I think mentally it just keeps you fresher as well.
Yeah, it does.
It keeps you fresher, 100%. And that will be like the same for me in football. Like if I can do that, I can control at the right time what I can control. It's made me realise what's really, really important. And listen, football will always be like the first love, but when you have your family and they know.
Being Southampton.
Yeah, there you go.
Authority one.
When I've got older, I think you'd be a lot more honest with yourself, right? And throughout the week, I've done all I can.
Cool. Saturday's taken care of.
Saturday's taken care of, and there's going to be so many variables that I can't control.
Yeah.
And sometimes just where we are in a skilled environment, like we're going to have off days. Lovely, mate. Well.
So you're going into your 15th year now, Mars?
No, this is my 17th year as
This is
professional.
17th year, is it really?
Yeah, 17th pre-season I've had. Yeah, I'm just shy of 700 professional games, like 18 games shy of 700.
You really?
So that's like for immediate future short-term goal, that's where I'm at this season.
Make 700.
Make
or
700.
break 700.
Yeah, break 700, yeah. I think,
But how much has the game changed?
yeah, massively.
Has it?
From a
Like-
professionalism, scientifically, I think it's all a domino effect of the Premier League and the power that has. But I remember like my first loan spell at Cheltenham, and we'd go into preparation for a game and it would just be the manager, basically like a school teacher near enough, like a manager on a whiteboard talking about the opposition.
Right, okay.
Whereas now everything's video footage, everything's analysed.
We're very data driven
Yeah,
at work.
Massively data driven. It depends on the football club, but a lot of clubs are either really data driven or data informed. It depends on where you're at, and that's across all boards. That might be from a recruitment perspective, injuries, sports science.
Those vests that you wear.
Yeah, GPS vest. Yeah.
Yeah, they obviously will track stats and like your running. Do they do heart rate?
Everything on speed, running, high speed, distance, accelerations, decelerations, distance covered in the game. So they're worn for all training sessions. They're worn on a match day.
So the club will have a metric against you of what an expectation of.
No, because yes, on a training day, yes, because the training session will be the end, depending on the day and what the requirements are of that session. The session will be tailored like for what they want out of it. They want like loads of acceleration, decelerations. A Tuesday we do like an intensive session. Will be smaller distances, a lot of 1v1s, 2v2, smaller groups. A Wednesday session will be extensive, so the distances will be bigger, but the shorter stuff will be less frequent.
And can they pick up like injuries?
Not so much injuries, but we do have every Monday we have a well-being test, and that's muscle like hamstring tests, foot to wall of senior ankle mobility, groin squeezes, abductor. So that would be. So we do that on a Monday after a game on a Saturday. That could see how fatigued you are. Yeah. So everything's data led.
We, as a business, don't really make any decisions now without the
Every
data.
now and then you've got to take a gut feel.
Gut feel, yeah.
We say the data is the data, but sometimes the data only tells you one half of the picture.
Same as the recruitment model for us from a football team, and it can be so transferable, relatable to business while you're trying to recruit someone. They could be on paper, their CV could be the best ever. We could look at a footballer in any position, striker, his numbers and metrics are through the roof. You go and meet him as an individual and he's completely disaligned to what you want to stand for as a group. And so what are you going to do? Don't get me wrong, there will be a couple, which I think don't mind. I think footballers don't mind not carrying a couple of dickheads, but we like to have like a no dickhead policy because we want everyone, for where we're at the minute at the football club,
Every now and then.
but you do need a maverick and sometimes they're dickheads. So
Same for us as a football team is the same as a business. You've got to build that culture.
Yeah.
You could see, especially in the League One, even now, it hasn't changed. It feels like as a fan with the football club, the culture is there, and that has brought the fans closer to the club again.
general conscious of me coming in back of the group was trying to feel like there was a bit of a gap between the fan base and the players, trying to make it a little bit more relatable to the fan base. The impact of social media, geeing up the fans on a match day, the influence that has for not only the feeling it gives us, the feeling it gives the fans, and also what it does to the opposition as well. It's easy to have good team spirit and a good togetherness when you're successful. But I think, like you said, last year, we done the groundwork from that. And when we were struggling last year, it eventually got us over the other side because we had turned. Listen,
Fratton Park was the fortress last year.
yeah, and that wasn't just a togetherness through us as a team. We all created that as a football club. So touched on it earlier, the USP of Portsmouth is the people, is the football club, is the fan base, and when you all come together as one.
And the boys at the club, the boys that are there now and the ones that have recently left, do they enjoy it as much as what you do as a boy coming home?
It's different, but I don't think I need to go and explain to them as much of what it means to the fan base because they see it week in, week out. It's some things are just self-explanatory. Being brutally honest, as a football club, we're in our infancy in the Championship. We're still trying to become a stable Championship football club. You're coming to Portsmouth, one, to play Championship football, of course. And like I said, USP would be the fan base, would be the support. You know you're going to get 20,000 at home week in, week out. Yeah. you know you're going to get, depending on the allocation, 2, 3, 4,000 away fans. To play for a club like that week in, week out is it, and everyone speaks about it.
That got us up through the league, totally.
It kept us up last year as well. You see some of the away games, and I think Stoke was one where the result didn't go particularly our way, but there's fans still there singing their heart out at the end of the game. Like,
Yeah, and
as a player, that must mean so much.
The positive impact it had on the dressing room was massive, because that was a key moment where lads have spoke about it. And listen, as much as we do it for the fans, obviously we are doing it for ourselves.
Of course you are.
But when you see that support week in, week out, you see this familiar faces. You see them travel up and down the country in horrible conditions, spending their hard-earned money. Like
you want to do it for them as well.
You want to do it for them, yeah, because
do.
they're part of it. And I think as a football club, we've kind of got that feeling back, and I think that's how we, at the minute, while we're trying to make up the ground between the bigger clubs in the division, I think that's how we bridge the gap, is kind of being all aligned together.
100%.
How would you find the role of being captain? Because you are leader of the team, albeit if you are captain or not, it's irrelevant, but you are leader of the team.
What's the chance of that?
No one saw it.
No, I saw it. It's not on. I've been captain at most of the clubs I've played for. Portsmouth being announced as club captain, so I've worn the armband, should I say. Yeah. Just from that perspective, I think it's elevated me as a leader. There's so much that people wouldn't see on the outside of what you take on as a captain. Really small things, but they all add up. But how do I see a leader? I think the easy way is probably behaviours, how you act daily, especially if maybe players that are a little bit younger in their infancy or not as experienced. I think that's just your daily habits, how you conduct yourself day in, day out, what you do, making sure you turn up time. It's not rocket science. Obviously with experience, then obviously lead with my communication, how I speak to people. There'll be a different tone to different individuals, to the group, to younger lads, to other individuals. You'll pull them one side. It's like micromanagement, not so much as a manager, but then as the group, and then making sure that we are all together. And then for me last year, it changed a little bit because I'm used to playing week in, week out. Still played a lot of games last year, but then there was a different side to leading because I've led sometimes from the bench.
Yeah.
At times that was difficult, awkward, however you want to present it, but still try to rally the troops, be a part of it. And as I've grown and I've got older, it'll come to a time where playing time will diminish.
Yeah.
And then it's still then using the leadership as a purpose to, like I said, drive everyone, making sure we're together.
Do you find that there sometimes can become a disconnect between the players and yourself, though, when you step up to that, say, captain's role? Because do they kind of see it as like us and them, or are you still...
If it's a players' union, I'll be head of the players' union.
Right, okay.
So yeah, not yet. Maybe if it evolves and that's something that, you know, I would like to do, is get to the management side of it, or the coaching side at least, and then that maybe it might come an issue. Where I'd like to think where I'm at with the team is that we are... I just missed that. We are in a position where I can hold the group as it is, and they respect me enough that they feel like I'm not part of like the
They know you've got their back.
I've got their back. I'm the spokesperson for, and then probably the middleman, the soundboard between the management team and the players. But
that's what Gareth Southgate basically did, didn't he? He had the senior...
We have a leadership group as well, so there'll be a leadership group upon being a captain, so there'll be other lads, and like I said, it's not just playing stuff. There's so much... Talking about football evolving earlier, like us as a leadership group have just then designed our new changing rooms at the training ground, and the club have been great at that. They've given us autonomy because we're the ones that live it day in, day out, and we're in it. They've given us ownership.
And that leadership group, is that something that you can install?
I think it's been ultimately kind of passed down, been led by the manager, but there's been times at other clubs where the leadership group's been voted in. The biggest struggle for a leader is like the demands are higher and you're demanding from the group, but ultimately you still got to look after yourself.
Of course.
In the sense of, I could be in charge of you two or as captain, and I'm trying to lead you or demand from you, but then I'm not delivering myself.
We do a lot on trying to build a culture in the office. When we hire, we think, right, will they fit? It's interesting that you have that same thing in football as well. Look at Madrid, they're just Galacticos, right? They've always been by the best players. They probably don't look at the cultural side of it.
PSG is a perfect example, isn't it?
Yeah.
They finally built players around ethics and desire and team effort. The superstar era PSG didn't deliver. And then
you talk about culture as well, and sometimes we're all, even in football, so fixated on creating that culture, and sometimes we force it and it becomes gimmicky. Yeah. It has to be organic.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes, like you're saying, the culture can just be from being a captain, being the first one at the training ground, being the last one to leave, doing extras, improving yourself. And like I said earlier, that has a domino effect then on the group. And then they go, well, hold on, if he's doing it, why am I not doing it? And that's then when you create a culture.
Because as soon as you drag the senior leadership team, you drag them along, then you've got the ones that aren't doing it. They're then kind of frowned upon by everyone else because it's like, well, hang on a minute. Why do you think you're some sort of maverick? Why shouldn't you be doing it when we all are?
In football, especially, everyone sees everything. So if you're not doing it, it'll come to a point where the manager, the other coach, the other players are not seeing you pull your weight.
Come in, champ.
Come in.
Come in, leader. Lead the way.
Leader.
As a business, we have goals. And that's the same for you and the football club. Do you set yourself like individual goals, not only for the season, but obviously coming to the end of the career now, and I'm sure we'll come on to that in detail in a sec, but yeah, do you set like immediate and short-term and longer-term goals?
Yeah, well, I used to definitely set performance goals. What that looked like would probably be a progression of the season before. So I'd try and always
get better,
make more starts, get better, get more starts. And obviously can I control that, of course, from a training perspective and a growth, but when someone else is picking the team, it's not always you're in control. So as I got older, it's trying to play as many games as possible. I used to journal quite a bit and just set myself daily goals. It got me in a real good habit, and it's very gimmicky in what people do, but I think it did give my life some order. And that would have been, even from a training perspective, it might have been speak kindly to someone, pull someone for a chat, have X amount of shots in training, do a gym session.
We have an accountability coach, mate, and the business would not be where it is now without him. He makes us not only accountable to ourselves and to each other, but also to him. So you do the difficult things. It's that, like you say, that difficult conversation. If you didn't hold yourself accountable to it, you might not do it.
We've got something similar. We as a group are speaking about being a bit more honest and having accountability with each other. And in football, that's something we definitely get better at. It's a little bit harder because ultimately we're all footballers and I'm not going to go to you and say, oh, Ash, you need to do better at that as such. Obviously, how you frame a conversation. Yeah. But we are trying to be a bit more accountable as a group, because holistically then I think we'll grow together.
They often say that in all walks of life, communication is probably the biggest killer of relationships. Obviously, we're mates of 25 years, and when we decided we were going to work together, and me having previous business partners, said to him, we have to communicate. We can't, because if you don't, that's when resentment can set in, and that's when it becomes toxic. You're not getting back from there. Yeah. And like you say, if you can keep that open conversation, it only is going to make you all better.
Just going back on earlier, what do I want to achieve? I think at the minute, short term, like I spoke earlier about, I'm close to 700 games, want to get to that. Really corny again, but honestly, with the recruitment model in football, I know that I haven't got long left in regards of, and that would be dependent on me and what I want to do, what kind of level I want to continue to play at.
Yep.
It just goes like that. And we all take things for granted. I just generally want to turn up every day, be the best version of myself, enjoy it, because once it's gone, you actually can't get it back, and nothing will replicate this feeling I have daily going into the changing room, having that team spirit and that banter with the lads. You can't, even if you go into, I love football. I watch it everywhere. Like I said, talking from a leadership, mentor perspective, my natural instinct at the minute is to coach during a game, and that's natural to me. And that's, as a progression, I would like to stay in football. But short term, it's like really, really simple. But
enjoy it.
Honestly,
and do you enjoy it as much today as much as you did as a 19-year-old who left complimentary?
And listen, there's some lads that will use it as a tool, as a job, but honestly, I generally love it. It fuels me every day, and that's why when you go back to earlier, well, how did you distance yourself from everything? Because I have the passion for the game, and I love it, and passion has evolved to, watching my boys play football and sharing a passion with that, having that.
Does it scare you as well, though, mate?
Yeah.
You kind of starting again. Although you've had an amazing career, look, 700 games, you're probably in the top 5%.
Like even score again, right? And football's the beauty of football is that, I've been in for so long, I've had so many experiences that it would be a shame not to stay in the game and pass it on to the next generation, because I've lived it, I've breathed it, I've been released, I've been in the youth team, I've played every level, I've been on the bench in the Premier League, I've played in every division apart from the Premier League. So
score against Man City though.
And I've scored against, I scored.
Jensen, they can believe it.
Pep Guardiola said I was a good player. You'll have to put this clip in. I'll send you the video. When I really strip it all back, and I've tried to prepare myself, I've done my coaching badges, not the last one, which is the pro license, which is then, if you want to managing the Premier League. Got the one below that A licence, which gets you far enough. So I've done my groundwork as such, but
can you get support, like I suppose, from the gaffer, from other previous managers, as you're coming to the end? Not to the end, because like you say, there'll be a place in football.
The next phase.
The next phase, yeah. So you can lean on different people's experiences and
just our setup. In a minute, the gaffer's got an open door policy. He's very welcoming. He knows kind of where I want to be at. I just don't want to step over that line yet, because I feel like once you do that, then you can't get that back. And also with my relationship with the players, I don't want to be seen to be with the coaching staff too much, where I then become one of them and not one of the players. Because
do you get them and us thing?
No, not.
Yeah.
I think you have done it, clubs, but I think because we've been relatively successful, I think when you're talking about a togetherness, we all need to be together. And listen, same as anything. I bet you two get it the same at work. If something goes wrong, you're going to blame the boss, yeah? But I think ultimately we try and...
See, it's opposite in our business. If something goes wrong, it's someone else's.
Yeah. Well, it is, yeah. Well, yeah. It is, yeah.
When do you get to the real world? It's easy.
Yeah. On the sidelines, it definitely is the players' fault. But 3 of the coaches are former players, so they've lived and breathed it, and
they get it.
They've then transitioned to being coaches. And I think when you're talking about, I have relationships with other managers and coaches that I've worked with. But what I've always done is that if I've been in a good training session, I'll note it down. But then also from a managing a people perspective or a coaching session, I think you take more of what you wouldn't do.
I was going to say, do you ever have a session and you go, yeah, but I'll do this?
Yeah. Well, you're tweaking
when the burpees come out.
And then from
no burpees.
Just from a relationship perspective and how people treat, there will be certain things that I'll think, oh yeah, that was really good, or that wasn't so good. And what you ultimately get when you've had so many bosses in football, you take.
Of course you do.
You're very fortunate, right?
From others.
In the sense that, because although it's a short career, you get to work with so many different people. Yeah. It kind of creates you, because you can take a good bit of everything and mentors and.
Yeah, I've obviously got to refine that and put it all together. In football, it's what you know, it's what you've lived, and I've been fortunate enough to have a real variety of managers and coaches, and obviously the modern day manager is now a coach just because of like the infrastructure at football clubs with like director of footballs and that. But I've also worked with like Mick McCarthy and Neil Warnock, who are old school football managers. But what you get with that is you get the really good technical coaches that put on a great session, have a really good ideology of football, the modern day coach, and then with those old school managers, you get they know how to treat the human, and it's like, how can you put them two together and get, obviously if you got them together, that's when you get the elite coaches or the elite managers. And
I look at myself like as Fergie, because there's some players, or not Fergie or Harry Redknapp, right? Because there's some players that some members of staff, you've got to go and like put your arm around and come on, you'll be all right, and G them up.
That's
and
exactly
there's other
like
ones.
A football manager. That is
and there's other ones where you want the hairdryer treatment, and I react best to the hairdryer, because I'm going to fucking prove you wrong.
If I'm going to now try and lead someone or get them to think my way of thinking, I don't think nowadays, especially in football, or society, how the modern footballer is, and a young lad, you can't say, do this, do that. You got to coerce them into your way of thinking. You make it up to be their idea, or it's led with questions. So then they think that they're part of the process.
In the construction industry, right, there'll be an apprentice for a couple of years. As soon as they've got their tickets, they're like, they want £200 a day and they're entitled. Yeah. Do you get any of that with young football players coming through?
Yeah. Do you know what?
So it's the same as well then?
It feels really like petty me saying this, but when I was growing up, spoken, I'm really old. I hate saying this to the young lads, back in my day. But when we're with the first team, for example, when in the friendlies, when the squads are bigger, or in a reserve team game, if you travel with the first team, you've got to make like the cup of teas and the whole way out there. You say it to the young lads now, and they look like you're like what? How have you just said? No. Well, firstly, some of them don't even know how to make a cup of tea, and it's like they look at you in disgust. I'm not making you a cup of tea, and it's not a downgrading, and it's just like a principle of football sometimes. It's like,
when you did your apprenticeship, were you still having to clean
everything.
First team boots?
First team boots, changing rooms, the mini bus, they don't do no jobs now. I just think it gives you a good grounding. And I think
that's it, innit?
It makes you appreciate it more.
Makes you appreciate it more. Everyone's worked their nuts off to get to where they are in football, but I think those little small old school values,
100%.
And that's how I like to see myself. I become a coach, to be like a modern coach, but with old school principles and traditions. Should we have a longest drive challenge?
Come on then.
Nearest to the pin.
Nearest to the pin, yeah?
Yeah, nearest to the pin wins.
Oh my God, not bad.
Kick right, did it?
It's come round and went in the bunker.
Yeah, it comes right round.
Oh, that's good.
No. Ashley could have won it, mate.
Oh, he's got a chance.
Mate, thanks again. We both really appreciate you coming on. What's that one piece of advice that what would you tell yourself?
There's not one piece of advice as such, but turn up every day, whatever that looks like. Be the best version of yourself. And then towards the end of my career, it was like, I've always asked myself, am I trying to prove people wrong? Am I trying to prove myself right?
That's a deep way to end it.
And I've always been in the mindset, oh, I'm going to prove him wrong, prove him wrong. Well, no, actually, I'm going to prove myself right. I know I can do this. Obviously, like I said, do my daily, my rituals, whatever I feel like I need to get there. Make sure my behaviours, my habits stay the same. And listen, there's going to be, the road's always going to it's going to be bumpy along the way. I've had mishaps, I've had down days, but if you stay consistent, I think eventually, and it's not, listen, that's not a one size fits all. You've got to find something that fits you as an individual, but turning up every day and giving your all is a skill. Otherwise, everyone would do it.
Mate, thanks
Appreciate
again.
it, Alex. I really enjoyed it. Dan?
Yeah,
Looking forward to this year, mate.